Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron. I was really happy to get your questions and to hear some of you the other day. Um, a little bit about me. I live in Miami, Florida. I work at the University of Miami. Um, and I met your teacher because Jazz participated in a group that I moderated last month, in the month of April. So now I'd like to answer some of your questions. Thank you so much for sending them. It was so nice to hear your voices. We'll start with Ron's question, or Rains. Ron's or Rains, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name correctly. And she asked, why do Americans like active sports? So I guess by active, you mean football, sports that you have to run a lot, maybe football or basketball or hockey. I'm not sure exactly why, these sports are common here. I guess Americans like exercise, and Americans like action sports that are full of action. So things like American football, which I think is the most popular sport in the United States, is full of a lot of action, right? It's a very exciting game. And that might be the reason that Americans like active sports. It's hard to say exactly why, but this might be part of the reason. Next, Carol asks, do you believe in Santa Claus? And I would say, absolutely, I do. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and my daughter, her name is Olivia, and she believes in Santa Claus, and I do too, right? I've seen Santa Claus several times. Okay, so I have proof that he exists, and he leaves lots of presents under our Christmas tree each year. So I thank Santa Claus for that, and I hope he leaves presents for you too. Next, Ira asks, why do American people like to eat hamburgers? So this is a good question. Hamburgers are one of the most typical American foods. You can find them at lots of different kinds of restaurants and fast food restaurants. This is a question maybe that doesn't have an exact answer. There's a lot of history here, but I can tell you that, some of the earliest hamburgers were made in the late 1800s, the late 19th century in the United States. And I can tell you that the first fast food restaurant which sells hamburgers, named White Castle, was founded in Kansas in 1921. So that is kind of when hamburgers really started to become popular. White Castle is a famous restaurant, and they expanded. They made many more restaurants around the United States, and they helped to make it popular. And then after White Castle came Burger King and McDonald's and so forth. And that's when hamburgers really started to become popular. And then when those restaurants started to expand overseas to countries like the Philippines, then they became more connected with and associated with American culture. I think Americans like them because they're fast, right? It's easy to make, they're easy to eat. And also they are easy to make during barbecues, and barbecues are a very important part of American culture. A lot of Americans do barbecues during holidays like the 4th of July or Memorial Day, which is actually this weekend on Monday, and Labor Day and other holidays. So Americans tend to make hamburgers as part of those barbecues. So that might be part of the reason that that Americans like to eat hamburgers so much. So Amira asks, why do Americans like fast food? And this is a good question. Again, it's hard to come up with an exact answer, but I think that Americans value time, right? Here, Americans work a lot. So fast food is, of course, fast. So, if Americans who are working a lot, it's something that they can order that is fast. It's also cheap compared to other restaurants, right? Fast food is cheap. And it's tasty, right? Fast food tastes good, right? It's cheap, it tastes good, and it's fast. So I think that those are three of the reasons that Americans like fast food so much. Unfortunately, fast food is not very healthy. So I think that we have to be careful not to eat too much. And finally, Neil J. Asks, during Halloween, why do kids in America ask for candy and say trick or treat? This is a good question. Halloween is very popular here, especially among kids. Each October 31st, American kids dress up in all kinds of costumes, and they go around their neighborhood and knock on the doors of different houses, and they say trick or treat, and then they get candy from each house. Why do they do this? Again, it's a little bit difficult to know exactly why, because this is a holiday and a tradition that developed over many years, hundreds of years. But it is my understanding that Halloween originated in Ireland. It was a Celtic holiday. Celtic were the people who inhabited Ireland. And then when the Roman Catholics went to Ireland and converted Irish people to Roman Catholicism, some of their traditions mixed with the Celtic tradition of Halloween. And then the Irish immigrants came to the United States in the mid-1800s, and they brought this tradition of Halloween with them here. And then that holiday mixed a little bit with some American traditions, some American ideas, and it led to what we now know as Halloween, and this tradition of going from house to house and asking for candy. So again, there's a long history there that starts with Celtic traditions in Ireland. And there was a lot of development over the years, and it developed into what we now know as Halloween on October 31st of each year. So those are my my answers. Again, some of these are very difficult questions because they have to do with history and the development of traditions. But I hope that I gave you some useful information. Thank you so much for sending me your questions. I hope that you can continue to learn about American culture and other cultures as well. I wish you the best of luck in your class with Jazz. You have a great teacher. You're so lucky to have him. And so best of luck as you continue to learn English and continue to learn about American culture and other cultures. So have a great day, have a great weekend, and keep in touch.